Okay, right. So I know I'm on my own. Um, so I'll I'll chat until people start to pile in. Um, Computer got a bit glitchy. Otherwise, I would have been on a lot earlier. And I'm hoping that this is going to be too jerky. And yeah, we'll lay some stuff out on the table. Current events, the way I see them going, the way probably a lot of you guys see it going, you know. But I do think we're going to need to brace ourselves. So someone's joined me. Say hi. Say hi. But yeah, I just jumped to 5 out of nowhere. We're doing it live, and it's the weekend. You know, it's the weekend. It's time to just chill out and relax, knowing that you're around people that get you, and you get them. What more could you wish for on a Friday night, other than spending £7 a pint or £10 for a large glass of wine? I'd much rather be doing this, you know. Right, so all good, Bo Witchy, all absolutely good, thank you. And help, Joanna, you all right there, darling? Toughest time for me when it's lights out and everything's gone silent. These glasses look massive on me. You know, they take apart my face. They're a little bit Cray Twin-esque. Would you guys be kind enough just to excuse me just for 1 minute? I'm just going to go and get an alternative to these, and then we'll crack on with the juicy stuff. Oh, she's just started drinking. Just started. Wow. See, I went upstairs, started rooting around for some smaller glasses, just as she started drinking. I think it's all right. She's done and dusted by the time come down. She was still drinking. She drinks like a camel. It's unreal. Hello, Michael. Good to see you, brother. Very, very good to see you. It's been one of them days. You know, I was about to put my glasses on over my glasses, you know, and the glasses that I found aren't my other glasses. These are the ones that are wonky. So I've got wonky glasses on a wonky face in a wonky world. Right. So I'm hearing lots and lots of talk about the possibility of a civil war in this country. Now, when I did my first ever when I showed my face for the first time last July, when everything was kicking off due to the Southport murders, and yeah. But yeah, so anyway, there was a few things that I was saying. I haven't watched it since then, but I remember what I've said, you know. And I remember saying something along the lines of, because I do believe that we are headed towards some form of civil war in this country, and that could start in another country and then fire us up, or we could get fired up and then they'll get fired up, because whenever Trump supporters, again, if you're offended, you're offended. But I see straight through his administration, straight through all of it. Everything, all of those little pieces of a puzzle came together in your head. Just like any other puzzle, you put the corners in first and then work your way in, and put in a couple of pieces that go together perfectly and they're right for each other, and then putting them to the side because you just made up 2 or 3 of those jigsaw puzzles. Now, so I said in that video that the ideal outcome would be no loss of life, no injury, no sacrifice, no alienation, no prison sentences, and but then I followed that up with, watch it back. I followed that through with here we are. I do believe that we're about to go into battle. And when I said the preferred outcome would be peace, and I said I can't see that happening, and I still can't, because it's just not designed that way. Hello, Tony. Much love, mate, from Ireland. I chat to someone very, very lovely in Ireland, about 2 hours south of Dublin. I can't remember the name of the place. But yeah, you've been through some shit over there, Tony. I think at the time, 2020, 2021, 2022, all of the Five Eyes had something different going on. So your New Zealand, your Australia, your Canada, your USA, and the UK, the Five Eyes, they were all dealing with it slightly differently, like it was just a massive social experiment with incredible results. One of the most important things that we need to do right now is preparing our minds. Now, I don't know when a civil war is going to kick off. I haven't got a magic ball, but I do believe that there will be a civil war. And I was saying back in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, that there'll be a race war in this country, a race war. But I never anticipated any of this shit, possibly upwards of 200,000 people in a few years. 2 million people in a few years. You know, and it's just ramping up and ramping up. So we've got them to contend with, and the fact that if you committed a crime as a white man, right, they'll throw the fucking book at you, even if you're indigenous, you know. Now, if you're a minority, which isn't that much of a minority, it's okay. There you go. You've got a free pass to do whatever the fuck you want. Now, going back to Islam, I genuinely, hand on heart, believe that these Zionists have utilized Islam against us. So it's more and more and more and more and more division, right? But sometimes out of division can create collaborations and a joint cause, like we did in World War II, like they're doing in Northern Ireland now with the Protestants and the Catholics. You know, we just come together. One thing. So, if you'd allow me to ask, you know, offer a little bit of advice, right? So, to the ladies, please learn some first aid. Please learn some first aid to patch us up, so we can get back out there again. And lads, you need to learn how to fight, but with no fear. No fear. Just gets in the way. It will just get in the way. And I'm telling you, if you don't do anything, you know, someone. These lyrics have popped into my head on and off for the last 5 years. You know, if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And they are. And we've tolerated far too much. Now, I do think that they think they've kind of almost got it in the bag. I am seeing signs here and there of damage limitation and signs of a bit of desperation, which is why they're up in its game over and over, just upping it up. I had an allotment with my late husband a few years ago. Please enjoy it. Great fun. Yeah, well, I think a lot of us are growing our own stuff now, Joe, because we don't know what the fuck's in our food, you know? Canned food, anything. Veg, sprayed with what, you know? So, again, if it's available to you, and if you can, get out there and start developing your foraging skills. But when this war breaks out in England, and it will, I do believe it will, because I can't see any other way. But one of the downsides to that is the fact that we've now got a couple of generations that are so unbelievably blinkered and brainwashed, they can't see the wood for the trees. Like I was saying on that little march that I did with Paul and Lulu, and we were walking down. All we could feel was the breeze, and you know, as we were stood there ready to march, the wind was, you know, just maybe a little bit of a breeze, nothing much. But as soon as they started marching, the wind just got, and it blew all of the flags forward, as if to say, march. And yeah, it was a beautiful moment. But as we passed all of these absolute nut jobs, and they were right, all we could see was the back of all these police officers lining, just the streets, doing what they should do, and yeah, we have got our work cut out, because they've created so much division, and it's that division that we need to kind of bring back together. Now, I do think for the most part, I think that will happen organically. A lot of the Sikhs that live just down the road from me fight shoulder to shoulder with me. The guy who owns the One Stop, Hindu, he'd fight shoulder to shoulder with me. Hinduism is one of the most peaceful religions and ways of life that this world has ever seen, and it's ancient, but they give a fuck. So just because they're a race of peace and vegetarianism and just not taking stuff for granted, but they are still human, just like us. And there are over 1 billion Hindus in India. I've got no idea how many Hindus we've got over here, because generally speaking, when a Hindu man moves over here, then through the legal way, and then that's it, integration. Whereas there are ideologies out there that are being pushed by very, very powerful families, and they've made it very, very, very challenging for us, but absolutely not impossible. And this is why I'm saying, to the ladies out there, please learn a little bit of first aid, and to the guys, start training, make yourself sweat, and not only will you start to get ready, you'll also sleep better because of the endorphins. They're just, as long as you don't go for a proper mad session and then go straight to bed, because your metabolism's all sped up, your heartbeat, your heart rate, your breathing rate, everything, But yeah, I did say that there would be a race war in this country at some point. And when I'd gone, I can remember living with a girl up in Lancashire. I've forgotten the name of the place now. I mean, they had two peacocks, but one had died a week before a fox had had it. But they had their own little stretch of river, It was lovely. Her parents had it sorted. And you see, it's almost on the nightly news now that someone's been killed. And they never really specify, because they don't want people building up a proper decent, the sleepy people, not us, building up a negative picture of the government that some of these retards voted for. We've been fighting for consent, when we don't need to. We are consenting, can even remember going up to a pub again, and I'd never heard this term before, but it does get used quite a lot now. But I mean, this is like, 30 odd years ago. And this bouncer wouldn't let me into the pub. Now I know how they work. They want to get more ladies in because that'll attract the lads, but they need to make sure they've got as many girls coming through that door as possible, so that the lads will, half cut, thinking she's all right, I'm gonna fucking have a go, and then they go over there and just completely fuck it up because they're pissed. But yeah, I was turned down, and I reckon if I'd have been black, because both of these bouncers were black, I think if I'd have been black, they would have gone, come on, man, come on in. So, but there are lots of British black men and women, lots of British patriotic Chinese people. I met one on March. You've got a lot of neighbours that love their country, but they need to realise what it is about their country that they love, so that then they know that they can justify getting involved. Now, do I want a civil war? No, I don't want any more bloodshed, any more harm, anguish, PTSD, all of these negative things that can happen. We need to be avoiding that. The tongue. So, the whole Civil War thing. Now, that will tie in. That will be it will be a race war. It will. But you'll have black people on your side, British, Asian men to your other side, British. They want to protect the life that they've built up in this country from scratch. They want to preserve that and carry it on and pass it down from generation to generation. And yeah, so when or if something like that is threatened on people like that, even Hindus, chilled out Hindus, that's where all these meditation techniques come from. The list goes on. Stop, leave. So I was stood at the door, and I turned around to him and I said, this is reverse racism. He said, what do you mean? I said, it's reverse racism. Because I'm white, it's okay for you to turn me down because I'm white. That probably wasn't the case. I'd had a few down me, I was just in one of those argumentative moods. That's all. And I didn't like the fact that I'd just been turned away. I wasn't slaughtered, I wasn't absolutely hammered or anything like that. But he turned me away, and I turned around to him and said, "Is it because I'm white?" And even though I said it in such a it was just a sarcastic way, it was without meaning, no meaning whatsoever behind it, I think it was just me taking an opportunity to use a lot of people's, go-to fucking phrase. It's because I'm black in it. No, it's because you've just stolen someone's car without their consent, or no, it's not because of your colour. It's the fact that you've just beaten a tramp to pulp to the point where we're not sure if he's going to make it or not. The list goes on. You get the idea. you know. But I do strongly urge you to learn some first aid, practice it on your half. If you haven't got one on your other half, if you haven't got your other half, think outside the box, because that's what preppers do. That's what we're good at, you know. We're solution based, but because we and again, this is not an egotistical thing. I think you know that by now, but I feel like my inner critic has to say that. Two 2025 is going to be etched into the brains of the world. You see, that's another issue. I mean, there are so many MAGA maniacs out there that are just looking for hopium. Hopium is it's just created you know, whereas the reality of it is reassuring, you know. Like I said, when I went on this march, and I felt so proud. I was just looking around at all of my fellow countrymen. I was just thinking, I'm proud of you guys, you know. Hold that flag up high. I wish I'd known. I would have took my flag, but I didn't know what to expect. And we were carrying our flag, you know, through the streets, and getting rapturous applause from, you know, a lot of elderly people in particular, because they remember what it's like to be English, Scottish, Welsh, Northern Ireland, you know, Ireland. So yeah, I genuinely believe that we're going to end up with some sort of either civil unrest or a race war. So they focused on so much division. There's so much division, you know. This is one seriously fucking clever psyop operation / event that we've just been through, you know. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But we've got to hold it together. We need to hold it together, no matter what, because whether you've got kids or not, there's still the future of the race, you know, or a son, you know, train him up to fight. But I do think that those are two skills that we could really do with you guys honing, you know. Not telling you what to say. I'm just asking you, you know. Learn some first aid, and then practice on your other half if you've got one, or practice on some pillows or whatever, you know. Improvise. You're a prepper. You think outside the box. And do you know what? A friend of mine pointed something out a couple of days ago, and I don't know why, because it's the sort of thing that I would have thought I would have known, or at least would have thought about, but I hadn't. So if you look at the hello, Sal Misra, good to see you, sweetheart. I forgot what I was going to say. we need to get fit, and we need to make sure that our heads are strong, because this year is the halfway mark for them to go all out, you know, proper depopulation, if it's not happened already. I mean, again, you know, going back to Musk, right? So Musk, you know, those big massive rockets that he was sending up, right? It was just for show, you know. It was pointless. He's one of these guys, and again, this is not to have a pop at anyone that's got autism, but they see things and interpret things in a different way to how we do, you know. And it just feels like we've reverted back to little boys with very big toys, very big. But yeah, these rockets, just for show. You don't see all the shit that's actually gone up there. That, you know, satellites that are so powerful that they can send massive laser beams down that are super fat, you know, and just wipe out any building in Haiti and a couple of other places. Yeah, I'm glad you've got in on a live stream. It's lovely to see you. You know, I would have done more. I've got to be honest with you. That video that I posted about the guy talking about the jabs and talking about climate change and all of that nonsense. I was surprised that that's not been taken down, because the content in the video that was put, the last video that's in the main video section. Yeah, you know, just quickly going back to the march, in between, all you could see was the backs of the cops all the way down. And as we were marching down, feeling proud, because I'm a proud Englishman. You know, you've got millionaires, multi-millionaires, billionaires leaving the country in their droves, you know, buying some cheap property out there and trying to homestead or whatever. I don't know if anyone's watched Homestead, by the way. And that's it, you know. I mean, we have literal right. So Musk. So all of his shares went through the fucking roof overnight, right? So no conflict of interest there whatsoever, right? Then he's got the whole neuro chip thing. He's got the chip in the mark of the beast chip hand. He's got the Boring Company, which has connected lots and lots of underground, well, what will be state-of-the-art mini cities now underground. And yeah, let me just read a few of these messages, guys, because my brain's going quicker than my mouth, you know. I made friends with a couple of the old days, of the old boys who taught me so much. I know the right way to plant leek seedlings. Yeah, I've planted some leeks. Whether they turn into anything or not, The garden needs a good overhaul, just so that there's more light on stuff. And just again, always remember, it's so much easier to see the light in the dark than it is the dark in the light. Take reassurance from that. Right, no one's asking me anything, so that's fine. Hello, Andre. A fine Scotsman. Actually, Andre can be a woman or a guy. So let me know which of the two genders you represent, Andre. And much love from England to Scotland, And yeah, in fact, almost we could sort of segue into Scottish history. Out of all of the countries that Rome sort of invaded, if you will, one of the countries that gave them the most amount of jib, these highly trained Roman soldiers, the only people that give them proper, like, looking over their shoulders and just on edge all the time, and that's the Scots. But it's not just the Scots; it's our Isles. We ruled the world at one point. It's in our genetics never to give up, to fight for what's right. I read the time wrong there, and I thought I'd missed a message from 4x4 fella. I've not seen him for a while. But yeah, you look at Scotland, and you have a properly wiped out loads of Romans because they were sneaky, they were cunning. They thought they were thinking outside the box. They thought outside the box. You stick a uniform on someone, whether it's an army uniform or, Navy, whatever. So I'm hoping that nearly 5 years of me saying that 90% of prepping at a minimum is mental, and getting your head straight, making sure your mind's working, and that you're not struggling too much, and know when to take time out, and know when to read a book or watch a film, from the 80s, something that's not been fucked about with. Just find your coping strategies, because we're going to need you further down the line. So yeah, I do believe that there will be a civil war in this country, and it will be a race war. It will. But like I said, there are a lot of Hindus, a lot. There are a lot of Sikhs. There are a lot of agnostics and naysayers. You're atheists. But if anything, like what is happening in Ireland is to go for, where the Protestants and the Catholics are coming together to fight this shit together, then that could happen here. It could. We can't stop waking people up, because they're accelerating now. So we have to as well, And I've made that abundantly clear for the last few years now. But yeah, getting back onto Musk. So the whole Starlink thing, on top of putting space weapon technology up there, the list goes on. The guy has made an absolute fortune. And I think Trump's about to make an absolute fortune because, but I mean, Trump, when we talk about rags to riches, give Trump a break, because his dad only left him with $500 million back then. $500 million. So I don't think that he's ever really experienced hardship or proper stress, And I think a lot of these people deal with grief in a different way as well. Probably highly likely, a very, very selfish way, But we've all got our warriors, and so I mean, look at Scotland, William Wallace, and then and I do apologise, I can't think of one for Wales, apart from a lot of brave men that got trapped in a mining shaft. England, Boudica, against all odds, they were led by a woman who won. Hello, Lana. It's good to see you, sweetheart. And almost missed your comment there. I hope you're all right, sweetheart. I'll give you a text later on. Check in on you. Nothing wrong with Lana. Just insurance companies need to be completely and totally reformed. And a watchdog, which they've already got, a watchdog chosen by the people, as opposed to people that haven't got your interests at heart, just want your money to then invest. And then, it comes out with a shortfall in, you have to go in and do it again, or take it off your other half, which I'm not into. But learn how to fight, and then have a good look at your house, have a look at your windows, do some proper brainstorming, do some well thought out wargaming, and it will take the pressure off you further down the line, because you will have already thought about it, and you will have thought about it whilst in a nice, calm, steady live stream, Oh, look at that, Lorna. You are loved. Everyone's loved, dear. They are. It's we're all like brothers and sisters that we've never met. Well, I've met quite a few now, and I'm aiming to build on that and building that. Michael's next. Maybe the ladies, if you can make it down, you'll be looked after. You will be around good men, that will make sure you're safe. But then it's just a campsite, and we don't have wolves or bears. We've got one mildly venomous snake that's, indigenous. That's it. Yeah, Lana, in regards to, I checked around 9:25, because I normally do start a live on a Friday at 9 o'clock, but this was the laptop was playing me up, and I needed to get the girls out. So, and I wanted to take the advantage of having a car that's fucking functional. so that I could go down to my local co-op and get some Graham's milk in. You know, whenever I go there, I buy 3 pints, 1 for the freezer, 2 for the fridge. Well, yeah, that was it, Lana. It was just technical little glitches, little gremlins, but we do seem to be doing okay now. And I had a feeling you might look as well, Lana, because you know that I do try and do live streams around 9 o'clock. Where are we? Be England seeds planted. SW Scott, too early, and bloke. Hold on, too early. Still Frost's bloke. Oh, Andre. Have another go at that, mate. So I can understand what you're saying. I bet everyone else can. It's just me. My head's full up at the moment. And I know that plenty of you guys are, you know, your head's a bit full. But, you know, one of the best things you can do to combat that is exercise. You know, to the point where you're just dripping with sweat. And fucks, I can't do any more. And then those endorphins kick in. And when they kick in, you start to think more rationally. You are more rational as a result of it. You know, it's mad. It's mad. Where are we? Be England seeds planted. Too early. Yeah, I've got a load of onions planted up. I have made a start this year earlier on, you know. But then planting those runner beans, I'm thinking they're quite fast growing plants. So once it's burst out of that pod, I think I planted them too early. But I've got a few more ideas on the garden. You know, there's so much garden there. And but the unfortunate thing is that most of it's slabbed. So you've got the slabs that are about that thick, and then you've got the platform that they were put on, which was made from concrete and pebbles, right? So that's the thickness of the slab, and that's the thickness of almost flint-like material. Just doing an inch. It was fucking exhausting, but it was worth it, because now, you know, we've got a border. Well, literally. You know, we've got a lot going for us. We have. But if ever the fact that you are prepping is concerned, and like I've said, you know, I'm doing it publicly, admitting that I'm a prepper. But to you and any of your friends, don't tell them you're a prepper. And if you have, find a unique, you know, point in time where you can go, oh, I had to use it all up. It was all going out of date. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And they'll leave you alone until you need them. Then it can be a case of I managed to find someone to give me a little bit of food. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I can make this big vat, you know, of stew that is at least going to provide you with some energy and some nutrition. So there are a million ways to kill a cat, and apologies to anyone that's got a cat. Oh yeah, and I know one of you guys have. I think it's Joanna Morgan. So yeah, fitness has become my weak point over the last couple of years. Yep, I need to lose my belly and get fit. Great advice, Terry. Michael, do you know what, mate? This is all. You know, look at it from my perspective. What have I got to gain by encouraging you to get exercise and eat better? We've got nothing to gain from that, other than knowing that I'll have healthy people potentially moving forward side by side with me, you know, or me with you. And but fitness, I'm telling you. I mean, with you, Michael, you're quite, you know, proficient with various different musical instruments and stuff, whilst being able to sing, you know. Now that takes some mental juggling to do, but you do it because we're problem solvers. We'll find problems. And again, look, honestly, any of you guys, if there's anything that you're not sure about, or you feel like you might have holes in your prep somewhere, just email me. Email me. You know, and we'll figure something out. I've got a couple of plans for a couple of people now. It's just a case of getting around to their house. That's it. So that they can start growing their own food. We are realistic. It is city prepping. You know, we haven't. If you've got an allotment, unfortunately, in my opinion, if people are hungry enough, they're going to raid it. They are. So when you do shit in your own back garden, and you've got walls up, and you know a few other things here and there that would alarm me, and I will go out there and deal with it, you know. But now I'm feeling like I'm having to put something on my microphone on my microphone on my phone, and yeah, you see, I had this analogy that I'm sure lots of you guys have heard before over the years. When you gain, I was actually going to set up a little kind of visual representation of it, but I tried it twice and I couldn't get it to work, so I gave up on it. But I love visual analogies because people of any age, faith, you know, most coloured people. When I say coloured people, well, I'm not white. They call me white. I'm pink. Yeah. Hello, Ray. You all right, lass? Just got on with your crochet. With my crochet, what are you making for me? A nice Aran jumper. I don't talk with the Queen's English, I'm afraid. So an Aran jumper would definitely look out of place on me. Although I've been after getting a three-piece Swede. Is it Swede? What the fuck? Help me out. It's a British material, and you usually see it on proper Englishmen. Is it tweed? Yeah, I'm sure it is. I've always wanted a three-piece suit, you know, because I think it looks amazing, and it's very English. I'm very English. I fucking love my country. I love my country, you know, and you know, I will, if I have to, I'll fight to defend it. I will. And just to the ladies out there, just know that warriors do exist, you know, big-hearted, equipped men that might, you know, kind of get a bit emotional now and then. They might show their what they would consider to be their weaknesses to you by accident, but just don't judge them. You know, people can get rocked and go downhill very, very fast, but it's always down to the interpretation of the person. You know, going back to a chat that I had with my stepson when I turned around to him, this is years ago. It's definitely changed since then, and then some, and then some, and then some. I think he was 18 years old at the time. He's in his early 30s now, and I just said to him, what's the worst, what would you say is the, if you can remember? If you can't, it doesn't matter, you know. So I don't like to apply pressure, because you never really get a proper well thought out answer, which is what I like. And so I asked him that question, what was the worst day of your life? And he said, Mum and Dad splitting up. And my instant reaction was, is that it? Really? Is that it? But that's all changed now, you know, and he's quite switched on and clued up, which I'm very proud of. What do you mean against all odds they were led by a woman? Right, just trying to, if I'm just trying to reinterpret what you're saying there, Joanna. They were against all odds because they were being led by a woman, and traditionally that doesn't happen. Traditionally, you know, and historically, it's quite a rare. It's quite a rare sort of person. But then her kids got raped. Boudica's, so she had that extra level of revenge. Now, revenge is something that you need to really keep a lid on, because if proper rage and revenge come out, then who knows what you're capable of doing. Which segues nicely into, I've not heard anything from this person since I mentioned it on the live stream. That's not to say that he's not, you know, out and about, or, you know, planning a trip down here, or seeing if his guesswork was correct on where I live, and blah 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 blah. I've just got so many bigger fish to fry. And yeah, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight you. I was going to say his name then. I don't want to fight you, but I'm not. But you sure as shit ain't going to get a fucking apology out of me. Fuck that. If you get an apology out of me, by the way, guys, if you do, because it's not a word I use flippantly, right? Sometimes it'll come out like, oh shit, sorry, you know, it'll come out like that. But when you say sorry and you're offering a genuine, like a genuine, honest show of appreciation, then it's appropriate. But yeah, Boudica existed, and she was a warrior. She was a warrior, and I know for a fact that I'm looking at a chat full of warriors. But I do think, I was going to say you do need, but there's been a few YouTube videos that have come up in between, and I'm just sat there waiting for the skip button to appear so I can just fuck it off, because it does my head in. Northeast. What? As in, are you Yorkshire, Andre? Are you Yorkshire and a lad? Aldi has stopped selling Graham's now here. They have switched to Muller for their dairy now. Do you know what? We're going to be seeing more and more and more and more and more of this, which is why you need to start getting your stuff in. Get as much as you can fucking fit into your home as possible. Because they are up in their game, because the pressure's on. The pressure's on for them. You know, there's no uptick for that anymore, apart from the ones that are completely brain dead and lost. And as harsh as it sounds, let them get on with it, you know, because we don't want any chinks in our armour. Apologies to any Chinese people out there for saying chinks. They're a liability. We don't need that. We don't want that. So we need to just. Again, what is harsh? What is too harsh? You know, if we've got people, because one of the things that we're up against now is that the government, all of these governments are up in their ante. They are up in it. They're speeding things up, right? Because they know the pressure's on now. Because there's no way that they've ever done anything like this on this scale before, you know. So because of that, and because of the dissident voices that are coming through the screen, you know, people sharing stuff and doing their own stuff and giving their own vlogs, their own blogs, you know. So was it? I'm sure it was Canada. You might have to look to double check. But they're bringing in what is essentially a non-consensual jab. So these kids are going to school. Look it up. These kids are going to school, and then they've got the teachers at some point who most of them would have looked up to, you know, as someone that's teaching me and keeping me safe. Now turning around and saying, right, now you need to go and get your jab, which will be a booster. And who knows? I mean, we've seen what getting a bit carried away with this stuff can do to people. You know? So as each shop starts to stop selling the stuff that we know now is safe, or we hope we do, then we can just eradicate all the things that pop up from time to time that aren't good for us. Because it's absolutely necessary that we maintain our strength, our sense of humour, and our resilience. Woodcutter, tree planter, it's all about the grow zones, my warmer climate friend. I love that, Andre. I love that. They were literally a couple of 100 miles, you know, connected as well. But yeah, you do make a good point. Hi, Andre. Yes. Someone brought to my attention about we've already covered Funky Prepper. He's not going to be doing anything commercial ever, anything a little bit controversial, should I say. Those days are over. So he's going back to just wild camping and doing videos like that and getting his monetization back from the beast, which is yeah. Hi, Andre. Are your zones give you advice regarding frost? I think Scotland gets a lot of frosts anyway, because it's just the difference between, because of the jet stream, the difference in temperature between Scotland, especially northern Scotland, and Cornwall, it's mind-blowingly different. Yet we're on the same little group of islands, and you're a drive away from cold to mild, almost guaranteed. I knew someone down there that had 3 hens, and we had 3 hens when we first moved into this house. And unfortunately, 2 of them got really fucked up, so we ended up rehoming the 3rd one. I've forgotten where I was going with that. You just covered your cat's ears. Yeah, I do apologise. I might have been a little bit catist, if that's a word. If it ain't a word, it's a word now. Well, it won't let me scroll up to have a look at any. There we go. But yeah, please. You know, there are a lot of. It's down to us. It's our generation that's going to be putting this right. Us, you know. So not only have we got our own families to contend with, some friends to contend with, the powers that shouldn't be to contend with. You add all of this shit up, you know, and it can grind you down. Which is why I strongly recommend that you start exercising. You can literally utilize your own home to do pretty much everything apart from swim. I had to really think then, you know. You can turn your house into a gym, and if there's any part of your body that you want to work on, I'll get back to you on something you can use in your home to get there. Now, I'm quite lean, you know, and I would say I've got a pretty decent body for my age, yeah, you know. But it took a lot of hard work, but just know this, that once you start getting into it and you start learning all of these new skills, you'll feel more confident. You will. I guarantee it. Walk with purpose, because you have got a purpose. Rorke's Drift, yeah. Zulu. Actually, the irony. What do you mean against all odds? They were led by a woman. Wow, I've gone a little bit too far back there. I do apologise. Yeah, so going back to the Funky Prepper, he's going to be doing a lot of like wild camping, bushcraft stuff. You know, he's way ahead on bushcraft than I am, but I'm not bad, you know. And I think it was in his last video or the video before that, he looked fucked. I think he's got a lot going on in his life, and you know, the world doesn't hang around for you. You know, it doesn't. And I found that out because, you know, when Sal died, it was an extremely surreal and extremely painful chapter of my life. And you just never know how you're going to be. You never know until it's right in your face. I am thinking about growing tobacco. I've got just quite a bit more research I need to put into it, because I don't want to be wasting soil. I don't want to be wasting space, for something that's not going to work. So I need to look into it a bit more. But there is tobacco that you can grow in this country. No additives, not addictive because, there's no nicotine in there. All of this, well, there is, yeah, but it's not addictive. So, and then they turn around that, they had these little meetings back in the day. It was like, did you know that excessive smoking can cause cancer of the lungs or the lymph nodes? No, I didn't know that. Did you know that? No, Frank didn't know that. Did you know that, John? No, none of us knew that. Whatever. I'll never, ever, ever trust my government, ever. But yeah, so Funky Prepper is going back to wild camping and bushcraft, which will appeal to a lot of people because I love stuff like that. Now there's a guy called the Woodlander, and he's trying to set up a community on land where you've got like various family members with you, and everyone's toiling and being there for each other and blah blah blah, milking the cows or whatever. However, I do believe that a civil war is inevitable in this country. I do. And that will be one form of SHTF. The other one would be a global food shortage. Again, that'll turn people into monsters. But as long as you know that you are sincere and genuine and honest and caring, then none of that's going to matter to you. It won't matter. It doesn't matter. I think what we saw last July was just a little starter, just a little thing, even though it was big, but again, we've just got this problem with division. And like I said earlier on, when I was walking along, my fellow countrymen and countrywomen, all holding their flags high with a smile on their face, feeling proud. And I felt that pride. And as we move forward, all we've got is this massive long line of coppers holding all these nut jobs back, but the temptation to just go over there and say, look into this, and then look into that, if you forget it, give me a call on blah blah blah. He's not enough to trace my phone, give me a call on blah blah blah, and we'll take it from there. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. So yeah, the Woodlander, I think he's in bad shape at the moment. I think his partner's left him, and I think it might. When you're low, and you make plans like that, you don't really want to be talking about it when you're on a really low ebb, and you just don't want to talk about it. I completely understand that. Been there plenty of times. Oh my gosh, I thought I was seeing things then. Well, where are we? Fitness mode. Yeah, one for the ladies, right? Honestly, and it is quite popular with women. I think it actually might be more popular with women in the UK than it is for men, because I think most men go down a martial art or a mixture of martial arts. That's generally what they go down. I think the vast majority of women just go there to get fit, and There are lots and lots of people out there who are not happy about the way that they look, and they want to do something about it. Do something about it. If it enhances your confidence, and you sort of like having a look in the mirror, not in an ego way, just a selfful way. Remember, there's 3 selves: selfish, selfless, self-full. Self-full is the most important of the 3. Selfish is irrelevant. So yeah, taking time out for you and doing stuff that you're going to be able to, you can, it'll build your confidence up to the point where you're thinking, I'll stand a chance here. I really will. But yeah, it's usually a female. It didn't used to be, but it is now. It's a female orientated sport. I mean, they're letting them do all sorts of things now. Football, cricket. Yeah, I was going to say comedians on the stage, but I can't think of one that's funny. That's just me being a sexist, but just joking with it, just in case anyone wants to jump down my throat, because I could have reeled loads of shit off there, but none of it would have been meant. I hold women in such high regard, but not all women. There's proper contrast in there. So you look at Rose West or Hillary Clinton, or what's her name? Right, let me bring it down. Please let me know the name. Oprah Winfrey, right? So I've just named 3 really, really fucked up women there, right? But in the grand scheme of things, most women are nothing like that. The vast majority of them, And I suppose the same could be perceived in reverse. You're hearing about men raping children, men murdering people, men having nuclear weapons. Little boys with big toys. Men. I can go on and on and on and on. But for some strange reason, you guys don't lose faith in us. We might end up going out and coming back in a bit of a mess and needing a bit of a tidy up, so that we can get back out there again and fight for our country and our way of life and our traditions, good and bad traditions, but they're still ours. We decide what we want to do with them, not some fucking invader. I was your neighbour. If I was your neighbour, I would pop round and help. I know you would, Joe. I know you would. You're so lovely. Oh shit! Have I missed? I thought she was talking about me. So it's Ray. What's going on, Ray? What's happening? My good friend died today, so I'm very sad, and so I'll not say much. But I love. I know you do, love. I know you do. I'm sorry for your loss, and believe it or not, you're not the only one. There's been a few people that I know that have lost people very recently. The last 3 days to a week, and there has to be justice at the end of this, in whatever form that comes in, and it can't be light. It can't be light. When I was driving back from Long Eaton Green, and yeah, in fact, you know what? Here's to all of the beautiful souls, our proper old-fashioned Google, our senior citizens that were euthanized at the start of this nonsense. Euthanized, you know. It was at the bottom of every single one of their beds. DNA, DNR, DNR, and then pumping them full of meds to the point where their lungs, you end up getting so relaxed that your lungs they're just like, I'm relaxed too, and then you just die, you know. And I mean, that's another thing that we need to really look out for as we're moving forward now, is that there are a lot of very, very unhinged people out there. Now, I try to curb my road rage, and whenever I kick off, it's always extremely justified. You know, I could give you loads of examples, but I won't bore you. So I have kind of, you know, I've gone toe to toe with frenzied people, but I won't stand down and I won't step down because I was in the right, they were in the wrong. And this is what this war is going to be all about. Right, wrong, slavery, bravery. So all of the yeah, just lads, work on your fitness, and I'll see you on the front line. Ladies, please learn some first aid to patch us up when we come home, and we'll protect you with our lives. You protect the kids with yours. And that's how it used to be honest. And I know it's not very what's the term? It's not very gender encouraging. Fuck knows. This is what they've done to us, you know. It's like, is that a word now, or is it not a word? And if it is a word, is it an offensive word, or is it not an offensive word? What does it mean? Then they look it up and they're thinking, well, that's not the same one. That wasn't meant in the same context. You know, they're burning brooks right under your noses. You know, and people wonder why I've got a fucking issue with people taking payment from Google. You know. One of the most decisive and divisive inventions known to mankind. Just splitting family members up, and because people are still believing in the truth, that people are still believing in the MSN bullshit instead of the truth. And it's always handier. Remember, if you can come up with something to hand, and just say, look, just research it, and you'll realise that just because I'm one in, say, 1,000 people that's seeing all this, doesn't mean I'm wrong. In fact, I would like you to take this information and then come back to me and then prove to me that I'm wrong. Just prove to me that I'm wrong. And if you can't, you know, consider the fact that I might be onto something. We've just got to change our approach so much with so many different people, because they're all unique. Everyone's unique. Everyone's different, you know. So me walking past, there was a girl on a bike with a little tiny dog, and it was pitch black. I went on West Park, you know, where they've put all the new LED lights up and stuff. I went on there, and yeah, my girls just wanted to eat her dog, and she just said something along the lines of, "You should learn to train them and keep them under control." I'm thinking, I've got them both on a lead. You know, I think sometimes some people, if they accuse you often enough and long enough, to be this, that, or whatever, eventually you're probably going to be that person hurts. I don't know where I was going with that. It was important, but it's gone. She's having cuddles now. Could just do with someone making me a bruiso. Get off your ass. But in fact, Bo Witchy, why don't you just do a like a, wave your wand. Bring. That's Yorkshire tea, that is. We drink Yorkshire tea nowadays. All off just a little spin of your little your wick. Is it a wick? Not a wick. Stick, staff, spelling. Fuck it. It's not important. I was, yeah. A catist. A catist twonk. I love that. A catist twonk. There are lots and lots of words that are coming out now. I've heard the word twonk before, and there are a few other splices as well. It all started off with dogs. We wanted to breed a cocker spaniel and a poodle together because they're both working dogs, and it'll make it because of the fur of the poodle. It'll make the dog more buoyant for collecting game off the water that we've shot on the water. And in some cases that it does work, but not in all. Not in all. I just love animals. I love them. Where are we? Yeah, twonk. Twonk's right up there for me. I like that. You twonk. I've got some harsher ones. If you want to cut right in there straight away, and only on someone that's had it coming, yeah. I would love. I don't think love's the right word. I would appreciate someone going into debate with me over certain subjects, because that is a form of potential deep connections, and that's what we need. This is why I'm still going door to door. This is why I'm still posting CBDC leaflets on buses, and I won't say where else because littering is a crime. And yeah, it properly paid off. Right, where are we? Beirut. Where do you live? Continental country, plant them springs here-ish. Oh, Andre, I think you did your comment in an Irish accent. But I think you sound like an asset to us, my friend. I look in the mirror and see a 68-year-old woman. My skin is 68, my mind is 68, my bones are 68. I love my life and I'm grateful for it. That's such a lovely message, Joe. You know, they always say, always end something negative with a positive. And I do try and do that because I think it's important. I don't like the idea of me pulling the screen down and going making a brew and then fucking off up the stairs and thinking, well, that's another, that's a a half decent live stream pulled off there. But if I'd have caught someone, in usually because there are women as well, if I caught a woman in the nose by accident, or I don't know, broke a finger, or all by accident, I'd just be absolutely mortified. I mean, how can you make up for that? Because I'm a firm believer that only proper, worthless, pathetic little no, not an amoeba, because amoebas are at least gentle and in their own little world. But if you're not women about, you're a fucking cunt. That's what you are. You're a coward and a cunt if you're not women around. There's no need for it. This is why I've got such a massive disdain for a specific Muslim country. Because of the way they treat their missus. Anyone listen to David Batts? Hold on. They're in large pots at the moment. Not sure about the roots. I live in East Midlands, UK. Are you nearby then, Bo Ritchie? So you'll know where Long Eaton is then. Yes, maybe have a consideration, or just consider coming on the next march with us, But I didn't realise you were so close. Anyone listen to David Batts on the Louise Perry podcast? The Louise Perry podcast, Maiden, Mother, Monarch. Oh, fucking hell, right tongue twisters here. Anyone listen to David Betts on the Louise Perry podcast, Maiden, Mother, Matriarch? Civil war in the UK possible within a few years, he says. I give it a year and a half tops, because people are seeing these injustices. They're seeing people that have gotten away from raping a child whilst someone else has gone to jail for not being happy about these people raping children and got 3 years. But one of the things that I fully intended to push on this channel to our little tribe tonight was the fact that it's the thought of potential consequences for your actions for doing the right thing. The outcomes for you for doing the right thing could be risky. But if nobody stands up and does the right thing, then we're fucked. So I'll always be a man who will try and do the right thing, and not just men, women as well. Just do the best you can with what you've got. Please do talk amongst yourselves. I'm going for a top up of a clean drink, and I'll be right back. Now, you see, I bet Lily loves us talking like that. I'm not realizing that you've got, all right, mates, how's it going? Oh man, oh, I went down on my bike like, and when I came straight off my bike, I rolled 14 times, literally managed to launch myself from one side of the canal to the other, and landed straight in this bird. And now I'm in jail for rape when I just tripped over. So that was a terrible Scouse accent. I do apologise. And then you've got the Brummie accent. It's like, all right, mate. I come on. There's got to be a way we can talk our way around this. We don't need to be fighting every time. We need to just try to get on with each other. So you've got, and that accent there, believe it or not, Lily, is literally 50 miles away from where I live. 50 miles. I'm sure that you appreciate, because I know that the Americans do love our accent. They love it, and but if American people become too nice and complimentary about how nice our accent is, we just, I don't know, bring up the Civil War or something, change the subject. But no, we're not all James Bond. We don't all just drink out of a bone china cup. I like a mug me. Great, thank you. I'll get that. Here is anyone familiar with a band called Ned's Atomic Dustbin? I'm not familiar with that. I wonder if Michael might be, because he's a musician. I've never heard of it. No. Right. Let me, because I'm very curious. You see, music is my life, and it's brought me back from some very, 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 very dark places. So I'm just going to screenshot that. Oh my gosh. Done. Atomic Dustbin. It is a lovely name. Have you heard of them, Lily? Because I've not. Band free from the 90s. I love it that you text in your accent. I love that. Oh, fucking hell. And that's Zephyr. She's only got a little tongue. I'm about 20 minutes drive from you. Oh, but Richie, my door is always open, and if you want to go for a pint with me and Annie, you've met Annie, might be able to get David and Hazel along, just go for a drink in Long Eaton, just have a bit of a chat up. Be nice to. I would love to try and get to meet as many of our little tribe as possible, and I'm building on that. I am. It's a bit more difficult when they're from South Africa or Seattle. It does make it a bit more of a challenge. But the British-based ones, especially those around the Midlands, there's no reason why we can't actually meet up in person, and that'll add another extra dynamic to what we've got here, which is very special. But yeah, I didn't realise you were that close, Bear Witchy. Oh, I'm just picturing you now. I'm just picturing you. I'm lying in bed. I can't sleep. There's something, in my head, and I can't quite figure it out. I'm just feeling vibes, right? But all I can hear is the rain just siling it down on the kitchen roof next to my bedroom. That I've booby trapped up to fuck in case anyone climbs up on that roof. I will know that someone's climbed up on that roof. So just bear that in mind, police. So lying there, just kind of not being able to put my finger on what it is that's disturbing me. So then I get out of bed because I'm drawn to go and look out of the front bedroom window, and you're there, Bear Witchy. All your mascara is like all run down the side of your face, and all your hair as well. Like at the fucking ring, all that, right? And you just and the lamppost there, so I can only see half of your face as well, and you're just looking up at me, motionless in the pouring rain, just mascara in your hair, just stood there looking. Actually, Bear Witchy, you do you, I'll do me. I'm a bit nervous now. That's my own imagination's fucked my head up. Nah, I'd love to meet you, sweetheart. I would love to. And yeah, it'd be good to get some nice little. I'll find you. I've no doubt. I mean, you can what naught to. I don't know the particular model you've got, Bear Witchy, but what is it? Naught to 60 in 3.5 seconds on that broomstick. Keep the local dialects free. Yeah, I love that because it is part of our again, that's another thing that makes us so unique, is the fact that just 50 miles down the road, 50 miles is fuck all. I can walk that in a I don't know, 50 miles. Do that in a day. Yeah. So, but as a drive, it's not that far, or a bus ride or a taxi ride. And they've got a completely different lingo to Nottingham people. I mean, I talk different to Nottingham than Derby because I'm in Long Eaton, and it's got a bit of both. Whereas, but with Derby and Long Eaton, if you say funny, it's funny, In Nottingham, it's funny. Everything's my auntie. Puberty. I don't know why I said that. I'm just trying to think of anything that ends with ye. Anyway, or why indeed. It's very welcome at my place anytime. Yeah, it would be lovely. Again, guys, have a consideration about this camping trip in June. You will be very, very safe. You'll be surrounded by guys that will have your absolute best interests at heart. Put you to sleep with a roof. No, not that. That was the other plan. Oh my God, that was so terrible. I do apologise. Good men, good morals. You'll be safe, and you'll get to know some of us. And provided the world doesn't go to hell in a handbasket, which it might initially, but then order out of chaos. It's inevitable. But it would be lovely, if this had have happened in the 90s, we on YouTube, you know, we would have had an annual tribal gathering every year. I know we would. I talk a bit of a mix of Derby knots. Yeah, right. So 20 minutes away. Just can't you just. This reminds me of when I bumped into those 3 motorcycle cops when Boris Johnson was visiting one of his MPs in Stapleford, which is the next town along. And so there was a couple of cars, and all of them, you know, with the windows like fully tinted, couldn't see in there. And Toad Hall. So I asked because there was a female motorcyclist cop, Penfold out of Danger Mouse cop, where I was amazed that his feet could even meet the pedals, you know. And then there's a big burly, like 6'5", 6'6", 6 foot, you know, 6'6", easy, a big man. And I was saying, well, so what's all this about? She says, there's someone really important here. I went, oh, right. Who? And she said, it's a VIP. And that was the moment where because I just pulled up. I was looking for a certain shop to buy a fridge from because our fridge had conked out. So I pulled up and left the car running, but it was in my my sight, my line of sight. So I turned around to her. I said, fuck me, this is like getting blood out of a stone. Who is it? And she said, don't swear, sir. And that riled me up even more. I'm saying, don't tell me what I can and can't say. And then her colleague, Penfold, he started pointing out at people around me. I'm saying, you're just pointing at random people. None of these people are alarmed and distressed, you know. So don't try and fucking incriminate me, you know. I can tell, Penfold, that you couldn't wait to get that fucking uniform on. You couldn't wait because you got bullied all the way through school, didn't you? Do you want to hug it out? I fucking hate the police. But the police are helping me, so I've got to be careful what I say. But then reverting back to the march, in fact, that was one of the points I was trying to make. At the march, we were all holding our flags in absolute unity, you know, and it was a beautiful patriotic moment. It was lovely. It was beautiful. It really, really was, you know. And so all of the cops, and there were hundreds of cops there, all of them did their job to perfection. There was no tier bullshit, no 2-tier bullshit there. But I think it was because it was in Nuneaton, and it's kind of generally quite traditionally indigenous people, you know. There are little areas here and there, as there are in any town or city, you know. Well, in some towns, it's completely taken over, you know. But yeah, the police were impeccable on that day, and they all had their backs to us as we were marching, which in some ways was sad, really, and almost insulting, because I felt like they should be fucking saluting us because we are trying to decrease that divide in society. But with you and your history of 2-tier policing has increased that gap between the police and the public, you know. But anyway, so looking in between, you know, one copper's head there, one copper's head there, and another one there, just dotted all the way along, keeping all of the nut jobs away from us. And pretty much every single one of these nut jobs was one of us, you know, completely brainwashed with venom, so much anger. Now, it was again, it was one of those situations where I was thinking to myself, I wish I could download what I know directly into his head or her head, and then just stand back and wait for their fucking legs to buckle, because they would. They've got no idea that we're trying to do this for their future, their kids' future, their kids' future. They've got no idea. They're completely oblivious. They just think we're far right thugs. That's it, because that's the way the media's painted us. Shottingham, country is broken. It is, yeah. Shottingham, I like that. Yeah. Guns have always been easy to get hold of in Nottingham, especially St Anne's and the Meadows. There's a few places. And for the record, Bizzies, if you're out there, I haven't got any firearms. Never claimed to have. So don't come knocking on my door, you know. Where were we? I can't go camping and leave my cat. Unless you could put your cat in a cattery, Joe, you could do it. And I'll make sure that you're very, very comfortable. I'll make sure you're really, really comfortable, you know. I mean, I'm 52, you know. I'm 53 this year. Yeah, I'm fit as a fucking butcher's dog. And yeah, so if you change your mind, Joanna, the offer's there. If you can get your cat into a cattery, then we can take it from there. But there's about eight spaces left, and you couldn't be with better company. It's our little tribe, you know. It speaks for itself. You've all got involved in the comments section on certain videos, and you've chatted to each other on here, you know. It's almost like you already know each other, because we've got a common concern and a common connection, and that connection and that concern being what's happened and what's happening. So it's just nice to be around people where you can just be yourself, you know. Because I was talking to one of our little tribe earlier. I'm not sure if it was earlier on today or yesterday, and yeah, we have got something really, really special here, and we've grown on it, and I think we should continue to do that and just empower each other and encourage each other along. And I think that's just the best way forward. One of the most difficult things to do is to move through life without flinching, you know. Once you've learned not to flinch, you'll be all good. Cats are special. You can get automatic cat feeders that dispense when and wet and dry. My solution for working away, living in the woods. That's a great idea. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Have you got a flap, Joe? Pardon the yeah, that came out wrong. Let me just get some. I'm just going to top myself up. Sort your flaps out, Joe. Come on. You know, when you suddenly go from feeling quite warm and comfortable to suddenly just feeling really, really cold, and that's me right now. Now, the so the Nuneaton March was amazing, right? But all of these people just, they fucking hated us. You could see literal hate in their faces, hate, and it's because they don't understand. They don't get it. They're weak-minded, feeble fucks that have just been indoctrinated. You know, completely brainwashed into thinking that we are the bad guys. And I mean, I've experienced. I think my ban might be up now on that Nextdoor app. I'll have a look at some point, maybe tonight. I'll have a look and see. But yeah, you've got to be this. If that's a reflection of how general society sees us as right-wing, racist, violent nut jobs, you know, what the fuck? You know, how inverted is that? Because we are there for them. So getting back to Nuneaton, Nuneaton's not really it's not a massively, you know, heavily multicultural town, right? Well, the next march is in, I'm not sure. I'm still waiting for information to get back, but I know it's not long. It's not far away. And that's in Birmingham. That's going to be interesting. Very interesting, you know, because if ever there was a city of England that was completely and totally torn up, other than London, it's probably Birmingham. Manchester trailing behind, just in England. I mean, the Welsh have got their own problems, you know. Cardiff, you know, they've got a massive mosque in the middle of a really built-up area, like council estate, because the land would have been cheap to buy. And yeah, you know, fucking 5 o'clock in the morning when you've got I've always fancied going to Turkey or Morocco and sort of waking up in the morning listening to something like that, you know, when in Rome. I don't want that fucking shit here. No offense. No way, Bo Ritchie. You went to Clarendon College. Yes, St Anne's is rough, especially the Chase. My sister lived there for a while, but then, you know, she's married to a yardie, a proper Jamaican yardie. So, you know, she never had any problems because everyone knew who he was. So, I think my sister could have chosen better, but now I've got a niece and a nephew by him, and you can't pick your parents. And that's not, I don't mean that in a racist way. I mean, I'm on about conviction history and marrying just to stay in the country, which was the original setup as a cash payment. I could write a book on my family. I could, but then I'm sure plenty of you guys could as well. You know. How deep does the rabbit hole go? Bloody hell, you're just a young one. Is that the name of your channel? How deep does the rabbit hole go? That's a great name. And you just said, bloody hell, you're just a young man. I don't know. I feel young, you know. I sometimes look in the mirror and think, fuck me, Taz. Have a shave. Get rid of this Islamic kind of convert style beard, and make yourself look a little bit younger. You know, it's doable. But I just go with the flow. It's irrelevant, you know. This does do my head in a little bit. I do get a little bit of it in with my food from time to time, and but it's never been this long. My stepson, he's got a similar problem with his hair. He's never grown it so long, you know, and he's a good-looking lad. A lot of tattoos, you know, even some on his face, which his mum wouldn't have been, you know, pleased about. But he's very like his mum, and he's a good-looking lad. He's a good-looking lad. But yeah, he's just grown and grown and grown and grown his hair. And I've known him since he was 15. He's now, what, 33? And his hair's never been that long. And he's deliberating on whether or not to cut it off. And because it just took so long to get it to where it is. And it's the same with this beard, you know? On top of the whole potential nesting site and all that. Or if I need an extra bit of cushioning in a pillow or something, just cut it off. Give the girls a good brush, add it all up together. You've got a new plush cushion full of human hair and dog hair. Yeah, I'm glad you got your cat back. I'm glad Princess came back for you, Joe, which is brilliant. Would have been a massive weight off your shoulders. We lost our first border terrier up in the hills of Edale, and it was torrential rain, gale force winds, so we couldn't hear each other, and I was shouting at the top of my voice, and I was just thinking, there's no way that Sky can hear me. And there's no way that she can, and I ended up praying to God, you know, please don't take my dog, please don't take my dog. And within a couple of minutes, because we'd sort of split up, so I'd gone one way around and up, and she'd sort of like worked her way back and down, and I was just screaming my head off. She was attracted to sheep, you know. Oh, I could have made a bit of a Welsh joke there, but it wouldn't have been fair. I do apologise for even allowing that into my head. But she just wanted to she was mad for sheep. And so I came back around this hill. Visibility was terrible. It was a dreadful day to go for a hike. But days like that make you feel alive, you know, as long as you've got the right gear on. And so I came back round this kind of rocky area and made eye contact with Sal, and then looked down and saw Sky, you know. Oh, the family, you know. So yeah, I've lost dogs before. Thank you for that. Yeah, you see, I don't even call them pets, Lily. Furry family members, you know. That's how much I love them, because they've earned what they give to us. in return for what we actually give to them, there's no comparison really. We get so much more. Oh man, stuck in siege is worth wheat, mouse, or rat meat. Yeah, it's all food. It's all food, This is why we prepare, mate. This is why we prepare. Just to make sure that we don't. There could be a chance that eventually we could run out of food, But the idea or the point behind this buffer of a stockpile is so that you're not panicking. You don't panic. When you start panicking and trying to make decisions whilst you're panicking, you're going to make some really fucked up decisions, And this is why it's so important for us to stockpile food and whatever else we need, and to avoid the hordes at the supermarkets and stuff. Like I said, have a watch of the film called Homestead, right? Have a watch of that, and it's not the greatest film I've ever seen. I think it had a lot of room for improvement, but I kind of got the point, When the shit hits the fan, the fact that you've still got cash because all the electrics have gone down, the fact that you've still got cash in your pocket means fuck all. Because if enough people are hungry enough, then they're just going to go in there and take it. So if you're faffing around, I've got a gold sovereign here, mate. This can buy about £200, £250 worth of shopping. Would you be interested in that? Whilst he's looking straight over your left shoulder, straight over your right shoulder, watching people just clear shelves into their trolleys and then fuck off out the door. But then there are still solutions. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that you just get that extra bit of space to compose yourself, adjust to what's happening or what has happened. Know that you've got food, know that you've got water, know that you've got the ability to cook or make water safe, blah, blah, blah. All the basics, right? And take it from there. It's I was saying earlier on, it's really, really, really hard going being awake and aware, because there are several things that really, really impact us. One of them is people that think they're awake and aware, when in actual fact they know fuck all, but they've got potential, I think the second one I can't remember what I was giving an answer to. I do apologise. But that's definitely an irritation of mine, people that state that they are, lively, switched on, know what's what, and they turn out to be just absolutely full of shit, So when or if you end up forming some sort of mutual assistant group, just be very, very, very careful about who you add into that. Try and get the dynamics just right, It's took nearly 5 years to get the dynamics just right in our little tribe. So trying to get that done overnight in a stressful environment where the shit's literally hit the fan. So trying to maintain some sort of calm, and I've got loads and loads and loads of ways of dealing with that now for other people, you know. I've bought stuff in to take pressure off them. There's different medications. Oh, the list goes on. It goes on and on and on. And again, you know, in a grid down situation, it's a little bit close to home, but I'm going to talk to you about it. Bear with me a sec. Right, so in that the last prep shop haul in the last prep shop haul video, which was Lidl, I showed you a couple of boxes of diarrhea medication, because one thing we need to be taking into account is that if everything goes to pot, you know, we're looking at having to try and provide our own water, you know, and that is a massive deal, because, you know, the vast majority of your body's made of water, and a lot of the water that we drink isn't actually activated either, so you're not actually getting properly rehydrated either. So this I got a couple of packs of these, which were an impulse buy, because I'm thinking that if anyone's going to end up with the shits in a shit, the irony, the shits in a shit hits the fan scenario, if they end up drinking bad water, then they are going to be scared to fart. It's going to get them in a bad position. And if they get really ill, they can lose a lot of fluids and minerals and all sorts of stuff out of their arses, you know? So there are more natural ways of dealing with stuff like that. But I saw this, but I'm yet to do a little bit of research into it. Because diarrhea is it dehydrates you, because you're losing so much fluid. You go for a wee because you need a wee, but then you're losing loads of fluid out of the back end as well, and that needs to be replenished. And that leads me on to another thing. Get this, right? One of our lovely tribe pointed this out to me, and it blew my fucking mind. But it blew my mind in a way where I was thinking, why the fuck did I not think of that? Why did I not think of that? So I'll finish off the last bit and then segue into the next bit, right? So vomiting and excess weeing and diarrhea, you're going to be losing a lot of those salts that the body needs to function, and you'll be dehydrating yourself at the same time. Now, I had loads and loads of gear left over that were all in sealed, proper pharmaceutically sealed bags and stuff, with tubes and cannulas and all manner of stuff. And I threw it all away because it had so many bad memories attached to it that it was too painful at the time. So I had to just get rid of it all. But I wish I'd kept it now, because that could have come up. That could have. I'm not going to go into any details because I'm not a trained doctor, but I would have known how to have put that together to rehydrate someone, if that makes sense, right? But all that gear's gone now. So that would have ended up being some form. And if any of you guys have got any medical training out there, you'll get where I'm coming from. The way that they rehydrate people in hospital that have just been through, you know, God knows how many days, shit days, literally shit days. And they immediately get them on a saline drip just to replace the water, you know, just to rehydrate you and rehydrate you with all the right salts and stuff so your body can start to heal itself. So, and again, I don't know why the fuck I never thought of this, because it's so obvious, you know, as a possibility, right? I would just get that in first. You make your own mind up. So the rollout of the jabs, and by the way, I'm very surprised that, you know, that there was, I posted one video, I'll get back onto it, don't worry. I posted one video that was from Australia, talking facts, and oh my God, talking facts and making complete sense. All of the information that this guy was talking about on stage was all true. You know, I was able to do a little bit of a dig, a little bit of a deep dive, and concluded that it was all facts. You know, and there were sites for peer reviewed. You know, all the people that had peer reviewed it was all independent. You know, it was amazing. So I'd gone from so I ended up posting that video on YouTube, and then I ended up getting that removed, and basically them saying to me, right, you can either take this little Ministry of Truth exercise where every single answer that I gave was the right answer, but it wasn't the right answer to them. I did do a few screenshots of that, you know, but that wasn't because I wanted to be a slave to Google. Fuck Google. I'll find another way, you know. I was just curious as to what those questions were, and it shocked me. It shocked me. Proper fucking brainwashing. This is how you will think. You don't think like that anymore. This is how you think. Just like being at school. And that's, you know, the relatively modern day education system was built around that. Control. Total control. So now I've been informed that in Ireland it was between 70 and 90 quid, between 70 and 90 euro was given to GPs to prescribe a jab. I'll never call it a vaccination, because it never was. There was no pure isolate ever. In fact, within the first year of this bullshit kicking off, someone had put out 100,000 euros for the first person that can prove beyond reasonable doubt that COVID-19 actually existed. And that went up to 1 million. It's still up there, $1 million, because no one can, because it didn't exist. The power of the word. So anyway, getting back onto track. So picture this, right? Now, I was on about lots of equipment that was left around after losing Sal, and I had to try and kind of create space, and yeah, it was a really fucking tough time. So I chucked all that away, and it wasn't until recently I thought that, you know what, if someone was really, really sick and they were losing a lot of fluids, I would feel quite carefully confident that I would be able to rig up some sort of drip system with homemade saline, right? Which leads me on to this, okay? Now, so the amount of time and money that would have been ploughed into the development of these concoctions would have been immense. It would have been, right? So they would want to claw that back for starters, and then some. I mean, people like Bill Gates, I believe that he is on the spectrum. I do believe that he is. He's got all the hallmarks. And people on the spectrum, they can't hide their lies. Some people on the spectrum can't lie at all. It's just honesty, all or nothing. Got loads of examples of people I've met like that in my life. I worked for this care provider for nearly 17 years of my life. You pick up on things, you know. So yeah, I would have had all the kit to rehydrate someone without going to a hospital that might not be available, right? So in the past, I know that some of you guys got jabbed, right? And I get that. I do get that, you know. And I'm sure that you have moments where you're thinking, what is going on inside of me, you know? There is a good chance that absolutely fuck all is going on inside of you, right? So we witnessed the biggest wealth transfer, the biggest transfer of wealth in human recorded history off the back of those jabs, because it affected so many different areas of life, right? So if an Irish GP was being offered between 70 and 90 quid per shot, if you think about how lucrative that is, and your government needs to buy it in from a private company to start off with, which is why they had, what, 3, 4? Making a saline solution for intravenous rehydration is doable. But it got me thinking, because I've heard of lots of friends that have turned around and said, do you know what, I lost someone the other day and they coined the phrase turbo cancer. I heard someone the other day that had their booster and the following day they had a stroke. The list goes on and on and on. This is why I'm very surprised I've got away with the video that I uploaded, because the previous one from Australia was way tamer in comparison, you know, way softer in comparison. But I was dragged over the fucking coals for it, and I was prepared to do it again. I want to push boundaries to see how YouTube operates, you know. And all I can say is, please just come over and have a look at me on X, look at the stuff I'm posting on X. And I have got a backup channel on YouTube. So imagine this, right? The amount of money and effort and time and research that's gone into creating this fucking poison, right? This bio weaponry. It would have been very, very, very pricey, but they've got, you know, a bottomless budget for stuff like this, you know, because it's for security. It's Homeland Security, and we're going to make sure it's secure. You know, the man that spearheaded Operation Warp Speed, and so anyway, so 70 to 90 quid per vial, and I'm sure that you could possibly get 2, maybe 3 shots out of one vial. Now, I've made my own saline. I've made it. I've made my own. It's not hard to do. It's really fucking easy. Just make it quality, you know? Now, I could probably make a gallon of saline for about 30 pence. 30 pence for 4 litres, right? Now, I never went out in the streets and saw people dropping. Again, that was my suspicion straight away. You know, I'm not seeing anyone sick. And then I saw all of the TikTok dance routines at a time when they all should have been rushed off their feet with ill people that had so-called COVID-19. You know? But they had so much fucking time on their hands that they were able to put an every rank, right down from no offense to healthcare assistants at all. You do a great job. In fact, you do a better job than a lot of the nurses do, you know. So the HCAs, midwives, surgeons, nurses, doctors, cleaning staff, you know, everyone from every single department got involved and spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on perfecting these dance routines at a time when we were apparently experiencing a pandemic. You know, so you add that in there on top of the fact that the flu disappeared for the first time. Oh, there was so much. But the shitty point I'm trying to make off the back of this is the fact that if I could make 4 litres of saline for about 30p tops using quality salts, you know, and minerals, imagine this, that a massive batch in every country was just all saline, which I do believe it was. Not all of it, because I've met people, you know, I had a stroke from the first one. It did make me reconsider the following day when I had a blood clot from the second one. And you hear people like that all the time, you know, but they don't put 2 and 2 together. Really simple, straightforward maths, and maths wasn't my forte, you know. I fucking hated maths. So you imagine knocking up vials of saline, just saline, so that each vial probably costs about 25, 30p, including the glass, the rubber section that you put your needle through, the labeling, everything. So people made an absolute fucking killing out of providing GP services and the NHS with saline and getting paid extremely ransomly for it. You know, that is one hell of a profit margin. That's like me in England after a rain and knocking on someone's door and saying, look, there's loads of rain. You know, here's I've put 4 snowballs together. So you've got something different for a tenner. You know, and them giving me a tenner. When it's just another form of, it's just probably a shit analogy that, you know, I'm normally all right with them. But you get the idea, you know? So I do believe the vast majority of them were saline. Yet they were still charging 70 to 90 quid per patient to have an injection of saline. Saline, salt water, you know, and all based off a lie. Off a lie. And yet I do hear the occasional person turning around to me and saying, well, do you know what? Actually, I were really ill, wasn't I, Frank? Yeah, you were terrible. You were terrible. Oh, I was terrible. I couldn't, oh, I was sweating. Oh, I was coughing, sneezing. I lost my sense of smell. Didn't I, Frank? Yeah, you did. See, I told you. You know, it was horrific. It was a fucking cold. It was a cold. Look at the symptoms of a cold. You know, you do lose your sense of smell to some degree, you know, because it's all taken over by infection. But it's a cold. In fact, CV stands for coronavirus. Well, there are so many different variants of that. There have been natural ones, right? Who knows now? Who fuck knows what they've got lined up for us now? But those original vials, the vast majority of them were saline. If they gave everyone the jab all at once, and it was containing this bio weaponry, because that's all I'm going to call it, you know, this poison, yeah, I wasn't digging it because I wasn't seeing anything, you know, so I was questioning everything. So you imagine the profit. Imagine the amount of profit of selling saline to the NHS. Just saline. That in that vial, ready to be injected, you know, that amount would be 0.0001% or 1 pence, like 0.0001% of a penny for that size, something like that. I'm just grabbing figures out of my head, you know, but you get the idea. I'm just trying to give you the idea. And those vials were then sent on to, you know, GP surgeries and hospitals and the like as being a COVID jab to fix you so that you can't pass it on, you can't get it, and the symptoms that you will get if you get it will be reduced significantly. All of those things were held back until so many people have been jabbed. All of those very, very important pieces of information. People were so fucking brainwashed that they were like, yeah, well, when my old workplace, someone contacted me and found out because Sal had been diagnosed whilst I was working there, and so I had to leave. And to cut a long story short, one of the people that I used to work with, lovely girl, Jade, her name was maybe, because she'll definitely be keeping on top of stuff based on the information she gave to me. She found out that Sal was ill, and she turned around and she said, well, surely getting a jabbed, getting a vaccinated is going to like improve her chances of survival or make her last longer. Utterly brainwashed people. So this is what we're up against. We're up against going against our own. That have been completely and totally indoctrinated and brainwashed into believing that we are far right thugs, when in actual fact we care about our country, we are patriots, and we care about each other, and we don't want to lose that. So if that makes me far right, then fucking I'm far right. So yeah, the markup on just selling saline, which if you really think about it, it makes logical sense that that's what they did. Because if they'd have put that the crazy juice into and all its variants, into everybody, those that decided not to go for it, like me, like most of you guys, it would have meant, it wouldn't have gone down well for them to try and push that on us, because I do think there's a proper fighter in all of you, because you're still here. You've managed to get past some of the most insane, crazy fucking times that in human history. Absolute madness. People driving on their own in cars with masks on, people walking down the street with masks on, people following the directions on the path, on the actual, it would be a sidewalk to our American friends, but the pavement, even the pavement had these signs drilled into them saying one way. And if you want to come back, you've got to cross over and come back the other way. None of that. I'm not having anything I'm not going to abide by anything that comes across to me as completely irrational and stupid. I'm not going to go for that. We do need to up our game, and I've done a lot to try and up my game. Now, if again, all you need to do is just revert back to the last time you made a prep bucket, and or the last time you bought a spare stove as a backup, or filled up a 5-gallon jerry can of diesel or petrol as a backup. Once you've done things like that, I know you can relate to this. Once you've done things like that, it gives you peace of mind. So you can just relax. It's okay. If it goes tits up tomorrow, it's all right. I've got this and I've got that. I've got this and I've got that. So it is going to be, there is going to be a civil war in this country. I'm telling you, I'm 100% certain on that. Whether it happens this year or next year, is open to debate. I've been off about things that have happened, but I've been out of time, So learning to be able to handle yourself. You see, the thing is about say martial arts or kickboxing, right? Is that you don't need to lift weights to get definition, to get good muscle, good quality muscle, you know, that you can see. If you were vain enough, or you felt like giving yourself a little bit of a lift up because you're not kind enough to yourself very often, and you look in the mirror and you think, yeah, I've never seen a 52-year-old man with a body like this, ever. So it can be a challenge if you've got certain kind of, you know, medical conditions or conditions, you know. But even then, I've said in plenty of videos, and I'm saying it now, there is absolutely no excuse, none. Get yourself fit. Even if you're in a wheelchair, you can do stuff, you know. I work with a lad. There was him and a guy with Down syndrome. The guy with Down syndrome, he's not with us anymore. But the other guy, I'm not going to give names or anything. I mean, he was born with his spine on the outside. So the only way that they could do sort it out at the time was to sever it and then kind of push it in. So every single day of his life from then on, he needed a fresh dressing where his spine was would have been trying to protrude out of his back. And the fact that he had no feeling from kind of like his hips downwards. So, you know, no chance of ever getting an erection or anything like that. So no healthy sexual relationship with anyone. That was all, you know, not happening. However, the amount of fucking trophies and awards that this man had for speed racing in a wheelchair was ridiculous. But another beautiful example of taking lemons and making lemonade. Which is something we don't. It's so easy to get bogged down in all of this information and all of the propaganda, and then trying to sort of find where the truth is. I'm pretty sure I'm completely 100% sure I'm on the nose with the Trump administration, that they're all being bought and paid for. They're compromised by Israel. You know, they are. But trying to explain that to a MAGA maniac, it's just not going through. It's very similar to when we've tried to, again, so much division. So it's down to us to try and put that division right, you know, to turn that around, but finding different ways, different unique ways, you know, and then having the opportunity now and then to turn around and say, I did say, do you remember when I said that? You know, you can use that, but we've got to keep waking people up. We have to keep waking people up. We're duty bound to do that, you know, for humanity. And yeah, I've had a few emails from a few very, very kind guys out there. You know, I start reading emails from people, and I end up thinking, you can just tell, you know. But I'd already sussed out who they were prior, you know, just in case it's someone that's trying to be an alias, because I'm on guard for that, you know. Oh fuck me, I forgot where I was going with that. All I'm saying is don't lose faith. Don't lose faith. Have some faith, right? We will get through to the other side of this hill. And I've said that, and I maintain that, and I do genuinely believe that. And my gut fucking screams it out to me, you know? We will get to the other side of it, but it's just going to be one hell of a challenge. One hell of a challenge. And yeah, I'm just hoping that there have been times where there have been coups within governments, you know, it's not unusual, not really, but it's usually in countries that are considered to be relatively third world, because no one really cares about them, unfortunately. They're just regions of the planet where they can test new drugs on. We're living in such a fucked up world, and this is why we need to maintain our stance. Yeah, maintain your stance. In a nutshell, don't show any weakness, and be confident in everything that you're saying to that person that you're trying to bring around. Because we do need the numbers, we do. And people are waking up every day, they are. But we're still very fractured, you know? We need to unite. And unfortunately, in order for that to happen, shit needs to get really bad, you know? Really bad. Like, off the charts bad. So this is one of the but I do believe that there will be order out of chaos, and it'll be the right kind of order until we do full circle again and fuck up again. But honestly, I strongly suggest that you get into some sort of fitness regime, but go out. You know, if you just go out and buy a fucking DVD, you know, 5-minute abs or whatever it is, I can't remember. You know, some of the marketing tools they use are just fucking ridiculous. You know, people fall for it. What do you mean I can have abs in 5 minutes? Sold. I'll buy that, and I'll buy 3 more for my friends. You know? If you keep dropping seeds of truth, they will go in. I've said that 1,000 times. I might end up saying it 1,000 times more. But that seed's been planted, you know. They can't unhear stuff. It's like me. There's so much stuff that I wish I could unsee. So many experiences I've had that I wish I could unhave, you know. But it's made me into the guy I am today, and you were the person that you are now today because you survived all of the shit in the past. You know, it didn't stop you. You're still going. You know, overwhelming odds depending on how you look at it, fairly overwhelming odds because there were other ways out, and it's a fucking dog world. But we have a bigger grasp on the truth now, and lots of different platforms where we can build a bigger picture, you know, of what happened, of what's happening. And I've forgotten where I was going with that. But what I will say is that I will never let our elderly, our senior citizens' memory, just all the all the kids in Southport, and all of the other, mindless murders, including our own government against our senior citizens. So off the back of that, there are a lot of people out there that know how to forgive and forget, and they manage to reinvigorate their souls by being able to do that. They've managed to feel better and happier that there's been some sort of resolution put in place that's just lifted them really, really high. Now, my point of view is that anyone that was complicit in any of this is guilty, and they should be tried. And their punishment should be down to the public, But again, things like that can open doors. That can open doors to all sorts of mad, crazy shit, like the Running Man, the Hunger Games. This is why we need to start working on decentralization and starting to come together as a species, because we've got people that are trying to kill us slowly, but that is what they're trying to do. And it's whether or not you're prepared to. You're either a put up and shut up, or you're a doer. And I'm a doer, And I think most of you guys are. Have I missed out on loads and loads of? I do apologise, guys. I went on a bit of a tangent there. Wow, yeah, okay. Something. Yeah, Maria Spoon, was that to make the perfect bath? Because there are certain minerals. You wouldn't believe how much your skin absorbs. You wouldn't believe it. It would blow your fucking mind how much your skin absorbs. So if you get into a bath that's full of natural minerals and, Himalayan rock salt and, Celtic salt and Mediterranean sea salt, preferably from sources that aren't full of microplastics, but then the microplastics is too big to get past your actual skin. So you have got a decent defense there. It's when you consume it, that's the problem. Because it's in your body. It can stay in your body forever, some of it, We live in a beautiful world. And we do. We really do. I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people are making, including myself from time to time, is as preppers, we spend a lot of time in the future, like, what if that is quite likely, and that's quite likely as well. So, and then imagine if they both happen together, that sort of mindset, living in the future. Now, we do need to take time out to prepare, because that's the whole point of preparedness. It's a preemptive safety net. Yeah. Hey up, Linz. Yeah, Hunger Games, exactly. Yeah, we don't want to be part of that. We want to be the solution, not the game show. And I don't really pussyfoot around the fact that there's only one way to get out of this, and it's not through voting. It's not. In fact, I'm fairly certain that we'll never see a general election again, or at least not for 5, 6 years, maybe 10 years even, you know, because we need decentralization. So if we can make everything local, it's going to work for us better. You know, everyone's got everyone's interest at heart. You know, these people, they're all connected to bankers, and bankers rhymes with wankers. You know, how many people got arrested off the back of the 2008 financial crash, which destroyed businesses, destroyed people, suicides off the roof, literally. You know, not one single person was arrested for that fuck up. And that fuck up is going to make this fuck up look like a day in Disneyland. I love to see you guys getting on in the chat, you know. It does, it warms my cockles, because we are a community, you know. There are going to be people out there that are going to think, oh, that's so cheesy, Terry. That is so fucking cheesy. Or I'm cheesy, you know, or whatever, you know. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Because I do feel like I know what's what, and I do think I've got some interesting opinions on things that I do believe to be true, but you know, again, not really interested in arguing with anyone tonight, but at some point we might end up having a three-way. I'm sure there's a better term than that. Yeah, so 3 people on the screen, including myself, and, you know, hashing it out, trying to figure out ways around things, what's wrong, what's right, you know, if there's a complete and total lack of ethics there whatsoever, you know, anything like that. Yeah, I love a debate. I love debating. I fucking love a debate. Because generally speaking, and I think the same applies to you guys, you know, we can go out there and start talking about something that's quite significant, you know, like potentially life-changing. It's further down the road, and you just get that look. They don't understand where the fuck you're coming from, even though what you're trying to say is trying to help them. You know, you're trying to do them a favor, but they're just not interested, you know. So I called it the fluoride stare, but I can't remember who it was who said it now, but it was a saying you sound vaccinated. I love that. But I'm also aware that there's a chunk of our little tribe that are valued just as much as those who aren't jabbed, who did. And now I know that they regret it. But hopefully it was just saline, just very, very, very expensive saline, you know. So don't stress about it. Don't stress about it. Getting stressed about it's just going to make things worse for you, you know. Then to get her to start eating dry cream crackers. Oh, I had a dry cream crackers competition with someone once. I won, but it was a challenge. It's way harder than it looks. But that's a great idea, Maria, for settling the stomach. Yeah, I've not got the full context, guys. So, oh, look at all that. That's lovely. I'm good, thank you, Maria. We are here to make the best of this time. I like that because we are. You know, it can be very, very easy to fall into quicksand of bullshit and misery, you know. And no matter what you do, no matter how much you sort of juggle around and try and shake yourself out of it, you just keep sinking and sinking and sinking, right? Until you stop panicking. When you stop panicking, you'll find a way out of it. So no panicking. And panicking, to me, panicking, fear, same thing. Same thing. I just need to use the gentleman's laboratory. Extremely trouble. Do you know, sometimes, I don't know about you, but when I'm having a wee, my brain really kicks into gear. And I think about all sorts of random, proper random stuff, you know? And I'd kind of almost taken, what was his name again? Because I kind of, maybe subconsciously, I just blocked him out of my head, his name out of my head, because he was he's just so irrelevant now. But the damage that he's left behind, Hamza Useless. I always call him Useless. Hamza Useless. Leader of the education system, white. Speaker of the House, white. Head of police, white. White people, white. You know, it just reeled off this massive, massive speech. And I just, whilst I was having a piss, I just reversed it, you know, the other way around. And it makes you realise just how persecuted that we are being persecuted for being in our own country, following our own rules, our own regulations, our own culture. Yeah, we're literally, we're being persecuted, you know. I think this is what, like I said, I turned around and called a bouncer and accused him of being accused him of reverse racism. He didn't have a clue what that meant, and at the time, I don't think I fully understood it either. But I mean, I was in my early 20s and I was saying stuff like that at the door. You know, the there are going to be lots of you guys out there that have seen so many things coming that you didn't really want to kind of mention it to anyone at the time because you didn't want to sound like a fucking lunatic. And pretty much all of it's come to pass. But there are always solutions. And every now and then, just remind yourself that the people in, I use the word charge very, very loosely, the people that are in charge of this country and the leaders of pretty much every other country, I've got no idea about what real life is. No idea. They haven't got a fucking clue. And that is their Achilles heel. Because they'll never understand us. Before you know it, it's over. Hello, Hugh. Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Yeah, sound. Yeah, Linz. Hey, Linz, look. How shy are you, Linz? Because I'm wondering if I've got. I'm wondering if I can add you to the screen to see if you've got the balls to come and join me and have a debate about something with me. I don't think it's doable. At least not on this laptop. Oh, fuck. Right, I screwed up there. Oh, man. Right, hang in there, guys. I'm hoping you're still there. I should try stuff like this out before or after a live stream. Bear with me, I can't see anything. Come on. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I gave it a go just to see if it would work. It's obviously possible because I've seen so many people that have gotten on there and they've ended up smashing an amazing collaborative live stream with people, which I love. I love that. Now everything seems to have. Hold on. Nah, it looks too complicated. I'll figure it out. But it would be nice to get, another at least two more people on the screen at the same time as me. So you've got a lot more diversity, and I know that's a swear word to a lot of people, but there's our version of diverse, and then there's their twisted, fucked up version of diverse, But it would be nice to get three different people that have got three different perspectives on one thing, and we can all talk about it, because that's how we learn, and we would be respectful towards each other, because that's how this is all panned out, there has been an exception here and there that we won't talk about at the moment. But like I said, I'm good to go. So I don't take. I just won't take threats from anyone. You know, whether you're a Joe Bloggs in the street or a police officer, you know, don't fucking threaten me. So, are there any ladies in the chat tonight that are genuinely considering looking into some sort of self-defense / exercise? Because time is ticking, you know? It's got drum and bass floating around in my head. And normally, when you get is it earworms? When you get an earworm, you've got to play a track, just the track that's going through your head over and over again on loop. But if I did that, I'd get a copyright strike. Yet they let me post the last video. They let me post that, which was nowhere near as the one that they ended up putting me on the naughty step for was nothing compared to the one that I've just posted. Nothing. You know, it makes you wonder if they set these algorithms up in order to directly do your head in, because we're all of us here, you know, we're all people, we're all logical people. We try and find logic in everything, you know. Well, I can't for the life of me find the logic behind YouTube's algorithms. They're utterly bizarre. You know, I've left messages to people that have got nothing to do with, you know, a brand new renaissance of Europe and the takedown of the cabal, or dragging Keir Starmer through the fucking streets of London with my fingers up his nose, literally using his nose to drag him around, right? I've said all of that, you know, and then I posted that video. Yeah, I might be, you know, I might be 24 hours out. I might be a month out or a year out of someone knocking on my door, you know, and I'll deal with it when it comes, because I will have broken no laws. None. So if you come into my house, you better have a proper fucking warrant. No shit warrant. I know what I'm looking for, right? That's first and foremost. And secondly, it's whether or not I agree to your warrant. This is my house and this is my life. I don't want anyone stepping into my world if they're not invited. It's as simple as that. And that should be the way it should be, you know? Obviously, if my name was, you know, if I was Fred West, you know, and I was someone that lived nearby, I would be begging them to go into that house and fucking search everything, go under the patio, which is what they did, you know, and all that. But if your intentions are honourable and good and decent, you know, there's no reason why anyone should or would or could need to break down my door. No reason. So if they do, they'll just, yeah. But it would be lovely to know if, you see, I know Lana, she keeps fit, and so it's kickboxing without actually kind of kickboxing against the person. And hope you don't mind me saying, Lana, but I have said that sparring, you need to do sparring, you know, doing it against a punch bag, or, you know, any other piece of cushioned equipment, it's not the same. It's not the same. You need to spar, because then your instincts quicken. You know, they just you come into your own. All of a sudden, you come into your own through your training. But you do need to, you do need to spar. I mean, I've got a bad back, but I managed to find, I'm a thinker, you know. I like to try and solve problems. Now, I know that one of the worst holes that you can get into, right, by a would-be mugger, rapist, or just absolute nut job, is to come up from behind you and what they do is it's hard to do it to myself because it's different. So you feed your hand down like that. I can't do it myself. And then you force the head onto the arm. It's impossible to show you. So I knew that a chokehold, because I'll never go down. I'll never go down, right? If I'm down there, I'm down there because I've got you down there and I'm keeping you down there. I'm a grappler, right? So if someone's going to get you into a chokehold, it's probably going to be a surprise chokehold. And it's like, so that in that sort of situation, chances are you're going to be stood up and they're going to be behind you, getting you into a chokehold. Now, I had an idea in my head that worked, because chokeholds are bastards. You're very limited for time, very limited, you know. 10 seconds, you could be away with the fairies, fast asleep, and then they can do whatever they want, you know. We live in a country where there are ideologies that are like that, an ideology, you know. So this lovely guy that I train with, he's massive. He's fucking massive. He's like 6'5", 6'6", and built like a brick shit house. And I asked him to mean it, you know, attack me and then try and choke me out, stood up. I requested that because realism will be helpful further down the line. You know, if you're just sparring someone and going, you know, just little fucking tip tap slappy bits. When you're faced with a real situation, you'll be fucked. Maybe not totally fucked, depends on how much training you've had. But a chokehold is bad. It's bad. You're limited for time. And I sent this 15 stone, 6'6" man from having me in a chokehold, a stood chokehold, flying through the air above my head. Now, I'd already thought about the aspect of what if he took your head with him and snapped your part of your spine or whatever. I'd thought about that. And it's human instinct to, when you're flying through the air, you're going to let go of whatever you've got hold of in order to start, in order to prepare yourself to brace for the landing. So it worked. It worked. And there's a few other things as well. I'd not gone training for some time, guys, because I just didn't have the money. You know, I felt like I was getting fucking ambushed from every angle. I'm all right now, you know. Don't worry. Don't worry. I am not going to be asking for money. I'm not a grifter. I never fucking will be. Ever. Ever. But I had to sort of like cut my losses on going training, which was probably one of the most beneficial things in my life because of the, that euphoric feeling that you get from training hard. And again, they have to try and it doesn't matter. I reckon we should take it up to one in the morning. I think it would be a great idea if some of you guys could look into a charity, and I'll do a 24-hour live stream for charity. But I might need a little bit of encouragement along the way from you guys, just drop in, drop out, drop in, drop out, just that, whilst I'm just sat there like that. All right, drool just dripping off my beard perfectly onto my top. And 22, 23 hours in, I'll be fucking talking in tongues. I considered a 48-hour one, but that's not that. I'm not going to discard it. Let's see how the first one goes first. But I do think there are a lot of animal charities out there at the moment that are really, really fucking struggling, because in lockdown, loads of people went out and bought a dog. I'm lonely, Everyone gets lonely from time to time, but use your fucking head. Use your brain. Use that little, if you go like that, if you can hear a noise, it means you've got a walnut of a brain and you're wasting my fucking air. So as a result of that, there are shitloads of dogs that need to be rescued, And a lot of these rescue centres refuse to put a healthy dog down. So, I've already gone through why I will not be giving money to the British Heart Foundation, because they've kept their mouth shut, off the top of the fact that there's record numbers of people with myocarditis, pericarditis, and a variation of other heart conditions and other conditions. And they've said nothing. If that was me, and that was my thing, and I was the CEO of British Heart Foundation, I'd be like, we need to speak out about this. We need to be saying that there's a massive spike in these heart problems, and we need to understand why. Otherwise, our research, we need hard facts in order for us to move forward with our research, so that we can find a solution to the problem. Nothing, not a fucking thing. So fuck them. And then you've got cancer research, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100, 1 in 50, 1 in 10, 1 in 3, now 1 in 2. What the fuck are they doing? What are they doing with our money? Whereas dog shelters and animal welfare. We could split it up. We could have a little bit of a competition, and maybe get 3 or 4 people to pick a charity, and then or 50 people pick a charity, and we'll just pick 4, and then spread the money out across the. And I would get a receipt, and I would film myself passing the check over or the cash over. I would film myself doing it in their premises, so that everything is rectifiable, not rectifiable, verifiable. Oh, it's been a long day. But I do think that that's a really good idea. When you think back over the last 5 years, I pretty much started this channel out as just as a journal. because I didn't want to talk to anyone, you know. So I started out as a journal, and I knew a little bit here, there, and a little bit here and a bit there about prepping, but I was no, you know, I was no prepping professor. I have a 5-year-old Rottweiler and a long-haired old border collie. I love my dogs. They only show unconditional love. Pity all humans weren't the same. Do you know what, Hugh? I think the vast majority of people, if not everyone reading that message, would completely agree with you. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because we've all been so fucking ridiculed over the last 5 years. You know, having people look at us thinking he's off his head, or he's a conspiracy theorist. You know, worse for me was my stepmom saying behind my back, saying he's got a lot worse since he lost Sal. Now I kind of get the sentiment there, but that's not entirely true. You know, I did go down hard, and I was ready for tapping out. I've done a video about that. I'm not going to go through it again. I don't want to talk about it again. But I've come back harder, faster, stronger in many ways. So for her to say that, it was indicative of just how fucking shallow she is. And I don't think my dad would have got jabbed if it wasn't for her influence. So I'm debating on the whole Mother's Day card thing, you know, but I don't want to bring you into I don't want you to be part of my family politics, but I just hope you understand I'm not a bastard, but I'm not blessed like you guys are, where you can forgive and forget, because I don't do that. I don't forgive, I don't forget. You know, I'll either block you out of my life or I'll have you. You know, it's one or the other. So I do try to be. I try to be a good man. You know, I'm flawed. We're all flawed. But all we can do is work on that and end up just becoming the absolute best version of ourselves that we possibly can. And it is doable. It is doable. But if I was to give any advice tonight, it would be the following. Don't trust the Trump administration. Start to see the light as far as reform is concerned. There's loads more. But as a starter, just please remember that we're on our own. You know, there are lots of people in England, you know, blinkered, shallow-minded fuckwits that are thinking, well, if you look at what Trump's doing over in America, it's like a wind, you know, it's like their weather. When they get bad weather, we get bad weather, you know. So as soon as people start to see him chucking out all these illegal immigrants, then our government will do the same. Labour. You know, we are surrounded by morons, you know, and back in the day, I wouldn't have called them morons. I would have called them lost people. They're lost and they need our help. I'm past that now. You know, I'll never stop trying to wake people up. I will never, ever, ever stop doing that. And I think if you want this world to turn out, if you want to give this world a chance to fucking thrive, everyone needs to do their bit. You know, I mean, I've said so many times in previous videos, I've said way, way, way worse on here and on my X account, that people have been arrested for way less than they're doing 3 years. You know, I think the reason behind that is because they pick their targets. You know, they don't want anyone they don't want a prepper that could cause them loads and loads of hassle. They want easy pickings, you know, a passionate, gentle, hard-hearted man holding a placard, family man. And he never made it out of jail. That was it. And there are going to be loads of examples of that as we move along. They don't want dissidence. They don't want defiance. They want you to be completely compliant and completely reliant. And all you need to do is, again, I don't like say, you know, when I hear adverts saying you need to do this or you need to do that, I get really fucking angry, right? So I don't want to sound like one of them. But if you want to give yourself a fighting chance, just try and get yourself into a position where, as best you can, you know. And if you're struggling with any ideas, you know, let me know what your situation is and what you want changing, and email it, you know, and we'll see if we can figure it out together. You know, we've got to try and find ways. We've got to be there for each other. We have to, because our government isn't. And all they're doing is bringing more and more and more and more people in. And that will be the catalyst for civil war in this country. You know, no one wants that. No one wants that. But it's Conti Kia. He's got a lot to answer for, that man, you know. Did anyone watch a little bit of video footage of him with a punch bag? Fucking hell. You see, this is what I'm saying. This guy is a pathetic little weasel. He's such a pathetic little man. He's pathetic, yet he yields so much power. You know? He's gotten away with so much and he's so fucking connected. It's unreal. But he is a pathetic little man. So you've got alpha males, you've got beta males, and then you've got zeta males. Let's just go straight. After the first two, let's just go straight to Z, because that's what you are. That's what you are, Keir Starmer. You're not even a beta man. You're pathetic. You're pathetic, and your crimes, you will pay for your crimes. You will. You know, I just hope I hope I get to see it in my. I hope I get to see it. You know, because again, a channel like this where we speak freely, and I don't want to be. I don't want to self-censor. I don't want to be thinking, hold on, bear with me, guys. I'm trying to think of another word for another word. I don't want that. Fuck that. You know, don't turn around to me and tell me I've got freedom of speech, but I can't say this or that and that. You know, freedom of speech is free. I'm an all or nothing guy. You know, same as relationships. You'll get all of me. You know, I'm an all or nothing guy. So when they start moving the fucking goalposts around and shifting this and shifting that, you know, I'm looking around, I'm thinking, are there any judges left that aren't bent? You know, the entire British criminal justice system needs to be totally and completely reformed. You know, we've got new people coming out of law school. Unfortunately, I think a chunk of them might be woke as fuck, you know, but I do believe that there are a lot of judges out there, but again, they're representing legalese, they're representing maritime law. That's what they're representing. So they're not representing me. I don't live on the sea. You know, law. Most of you will know this, but some of you won't. Law. L, land. A, air. W, water. There are three separate types of law. And we've been living under the wrong one for far too long, which is why I'm not a massive fan of the black fucking every time. I'm not a massive fan of the black belt bastard barrister, because he's not actually on our side. He's not actually fighting for us. The only reason he's changed his channel and the way that he puts his new material across is because of demand. You know, he wants to. As soon as the channel starts, he's got the begging bowl out straight away. The guy's not fucking short of a few quid. You know, he's not suffering like most of us. So he's trying to. He goes on from trying to get money out of you while staying well within YouTube's guidelines, you know, making sure that everything he says is very, very safe so that it doesn't affect his Google income from suckling on the fucking tit of the beast. You know? Instead of properly speaking out. But he doesn't, because he doesn't want to lose his bread and butter. You know? Money over principles. So I don't know what his first name is. Does anyone know what his first name is? The black belt barrister. Regardless, don't be like him. You know, if you've got principles, stand by them. You know, even if you have to reach right down to bring all that passion up to the surface about your principles. If your principles are honourable, you know, just, then nothing else matters. Nothing, you know. Principles are principles. They're so important. It says a lot about who you are as a person. And at the moment, it doesn't feel like there's many of us, but I know there are. We just need to come together. So, yeah, I was gonna have a 1 o'clock shut off, so we'll close down now because I don't want to go too far into the early morning. You know, get some sleep and yeah. But so, if you're interested in joining us for the summer camp in June, email me. If there are any gaps in your preps, or if there's anything you feel like you can improve on or you're not comfortable with that you think could be better, but you can't think of what to do to make it better, email me. If you're feeling alone and stressed, and I mean really stressed, everyone feels alone at some point during the average day, you know. But if you're feeling alone, email me. You know, we need to be like that. And and know that we've all got each other's backs to some degree, albeit virtual, but not in all cases. Hopefully I'll work my way through all of you and get to meet all of you, you know, including you, Lily, now that I know you've got a little place stashed away where I can hide out, you know, as the ultimate dissident fugitive of England. Yeah, I'd take that. Yeah, I'd like that. Nah. The truth is, I don't want any more shit on my plate. But there is room on my plate because I know there's more shit coming. So it's as simple as that. So, cheers, you. Thank you. To all 12 of you guys who are still listening to me, thank you for joining me tonight. It's always appreciated. It always is, because when there are numbers in there and there's a chat going on here, none of us feel alone, you know, and we're living in a world that can make you feel quite alone. So we'll always have this, hopefully, you know, and yeah, just don't just hold on to that strength. Think about where you were 5 years ago, and then think about the darkest spots, the darkest points that you've been in since then. Because I'm pretty sure most of you guys have been in that sort of situation. And then see yourself now, you know, you get knocked down, but you get back up again. So I'm going to finish it off with a gross analogy. I don't know why, but I've started, so I'll finish. Right. So imagine, and as soon as I've done this, we'll call it a night. Okay. So imagine, right, you have day after day after day after day after day after day where you feel like you're being fucking ambushed by the hour every day. No relent, you know, to the point where you can start developing a little bit of a victim mentality, you know. It's like, why is it always happening to me? You know, I try and be a good guy, or I try and be a good woman, you know, yet you're still throwing loads of fucking shit at me every day, you know. Give me a break. So I saw this little cartoon, this animation on Facebook, and it started off by saying something along the lines of, yeah, you're ready for giving up. I can see that. You're ready for giving up. We live in a harsh world, you know, but giving up, why would you want to do that? Think about arse hair. Think about the environment that arse hair grows in. Constant barrage of shit. Shit, 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 more shit. Yet those hairs continue to grow. Perfectly healthy, you know? So you can live in a world full of shit and abuse, and you can still rise to the top. You can. It's doable. It's all about your mindset. It's all about your mindset and your preppers. So you've already got a head start. And on that note, I'm sorry about the shitty analogy at the end. I thought it was quite good. I loved it. But if I don't speak to you before, guys, I'll I'll do another live during the weekend. You know, I think as times get a little bit more fruity, I think maybe I should be around more so we can all come together. You know, yeah, leave it with me. All of you, sleep well. Don't forget to breathe. No fear, no stress, just peace. You know, you know what? I could throw in I would do a guided meditation for one of you lot at some point for a dog charity. Yeah. Now I'm waffling, right? Good night, folks. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Much love to all of you, and ciao for now.